This is an unacceptable level of body fat. Late night foods for me were a big problem. So what I needed was something savory and something sweet. Beef jerky, pickles, and carrots, popcorn, Yasso ice creams. And I was like so set. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's video is going to be about how I was able to lose a decent chunk of weight in a relatively short amount of time. And the purpose here is to deliver applicable things, tangible steps that you guys can take from my experiences. Just as like a timeline here, right around the CrossFit Games, I think it was like August, like the first week of August of 2023, I was at like one of my heaviest, but also my strongest that I've been in a long time. So I snatched 300 pounds or 137 kilos. I clean and jerked 165 kilos or 365 pounds. And I weighed around, let's say 245. So that's close to like 111, 112 kilos body weight. Right now, we are 3 months away from that, four months away from that. And I am probably around 100 kilos body weight, 102 kilos. Oh God, I could be off by like 5 pounds here. I'm definitely down in weight. Okay. It's noticeable in my face, as you can see by that post, that Instagram post that I had, and my body as well. Let's dive into it. And I want to start with like the most important part of this. Lower your expectations for your strength numbers. And this is for a very specific subset of people. If you are strong or if you have pursued strength for quite a while.
Only the baddest of the bad can get in.
I guess our definition of strong here would be like, have you put 100 pounds on your back squat?
You need to have muscles on your muscles.
Because if you have, you're like closer to optimizing for strength than most people in the world. If you're that person, lowering your expectations for that movement, the squat, is going to help you focus on so many other things in the gym. But if your focus is to lose weight and focus on nutrition and maybe more general physical preparedness, maybe get better at running, all of these other different things, if you're able to free up that space in your mind and your training and your recovery, it is ridiculous how much that helps. For myself, I had been working on getting my total up as high as I possibly could get it compared to where it was before. My best ever snatch is 143 kilos. My best ever clean and jerk is 176. I was getting there. And one of the movements that I found was helping me tremendously was the resting pause back squat. I made a few videos on this, but I also posted probably one of the greatest programs that I've ever come up with on my Patreon. So go check that out. But I was on a roll, okay? And I was doing nothing but trying to get stronger and increase my snatch and clean and jerk numbers as I approached, going to Japan and Korea and then going to the CrossFit Games after that. So what was so easy for me was to be like, oh, well, I don't have to snatch and clean and jerk more than that. I don't even have to snatch and clean and jerk any number. I don't have to prove to myself that I'm strong. So what I'm going to do is not really focus on my numbers really at all anymore. I'm going to find ways to challenge myself in the gym in other ways. And then also, if body recomposition is the thing that I'm going to focus on, that's going to be my Super Bowl. And that's one of the most valuable things that I've kind of learned from other coaches and mentors is like, treat whatever it is that you're focused on, treat that like it's your Super Bowl. And I think that's really important. If you're in a weight class and you want to go for a lighter weight class, like stop worrying so much about weights and start dialing in your nutrition and your sleep and all of these things that relate to lowering which weight class you're in. Odds are is that your strength numbers will not deplete so ridiculously while you go and do that. But it is very important to have that mental acuity geared towards the thing that you want. Now, number 2, the things that I did in the gym. Now, I made an Instagram post on this, but basically gamifying your conditioning or gamifying your cardio. It's basically creating these bounds at which, it's like progressive overload, but for impatient kind of nerds like myself, right? If I wanted to really optimize for my 500 meter ski time, I'd be doing intervals and weird shit, all the time. But instead, I went into the gym and I was like, I'm going to row a 500 and then I'm just going to do it at a certain pace. Okay, I finished my 500. What was my time? Okay, that's my time. Let's see if I can beat that time by like 5 seconds. I would kind of coast along the same time, then I'd beat it by 5 seconds. Wow, I did it. Then, let's see if I can beat that first time by 10 seconds and so on and so forth until I just go, I'm going to send it. Okay. 1 week later, I've taken however many seconds off of my time in this 500 meter ski, this game that I invented myself. I've taken that much amount of time off of it and I'm that much more fit and I've had that much more experience doing cardio. I was basically doing that every single day with every single cardio movement. Again, these are not very optimal things, but I am not trying to optimize for running a marathon or running a triathlon or any of that really. I don't have those expectations like I had talked about before, right? Somebody might see my running program if I'm like, running on a treadmill or running outside and be like, oh, that's kind of shitty. It's like, well, sure, of course it is, but I'm not trying to be a good runner. I just consistently did that. I started to care a little bit about my nutrition, nothing crazy, but I just wasn't eating a shitload of calories late at night with no regard because all I cared about was lifting heavy. That was not my mindset anymore. So I just didn't do that. And it was crazy how much, water weight came off immediately. Yes, it was not fat. It was just a lot of water. I mean, look at the picture of my face then compared to now. Look at this. It's ridiculous. That was, 4 months ago. And now this is what I look like. That's water weight. That's not just fat. Late night foods for me were a big problem. So what I needed was something savory and something sweet. So what I figured were the best foods for me at the time, beef jerky, pickles, and carrots. So a mixture of those two as my vegetable. And then sometimes I would have like some popcorn. I would have a Zevia, right? Like either a Zevia root beer, Zevia whatever fucking flavor. And then these Yasso ice creams, which were 100 calories each. And I would just like eat those, savory things until I was like pretty full. And then I would just have one of those. And I was like so set. Like what I would have done before was just like ordered Chinese food, right? And like pickles and carrots are like pretty much no goddamn calories. Beef jerky is pretty much just protein. And then one of those Yassos is 100 calories. I mean, I'm sure I was just decimating my late night calorie intake. Again, these things aren't really that crazy, but going from a position of being like, I don't give a fuck about any of that to then actually caring about that, it was like the easiest transition ever. So something I can suggest to you guys is to like go out and get strong for once in your life. If you haven't ever been strong, go out and get strong. And like, yeah, maybe get a little bit fat, right? Because like, let's say you get your back squat from like non-existent to then 200 pounds. And then you're like, you know what? I want to get my back squat to 300 pounds. And then you're like, you know what? I want to get my back squat to 405. I want 4 plates. You get your back squat up to 405. And then you realize you're pretty chunky. You go, hey, I don't need to prove to myself that I'm strong. I'm pretty goddamn strong. Now let's lose this fucking weight. And that's when shit is so goddamn easy. Does anyone ever say that? Like losing those first 10 pounds, 20 pounds was so easy because my mindset was always get stronger, get stronger, get stronger. And now I just flip my mindset to being like, I'm still pretty strong. Let's focus a little bit on nutrition and cardio. And it just sheds off. I don't know. Maybe that's idiotic advice, but that is how I did it. It's a tough one getting into the nutrition aspect of things and the diet culture because it's a very sketchy one to be in. A lot of people love to shit on each other for their advice, but guys, this is exactly how I did it. This is exactly how I'm doing it. Look, you see, this is an unacceptable level of body fat in the fitness industry. You see that? We can't be having that. This is morbidly obese.